Okay. What on earth was I saying?
Rich.
Yeah, so
Oh, goodness, sheesh. So we're working through, and so like the language is it's complicated, and so there's a group of people who've been doing this for a long time. A lot of them sit in on advanced Lingít. They keep taking it, and it's just wonderful as we keep sort of teaching a group of folks what we usually work on in advanced Lingít and continuing to further our own understanding of the language. But we found a verb that we collectively didn't know exists. So it's really neat too, because we all sort of know this cloud of information. And it's interesting to me because the most advanced second language speakers of Tlingit right now are maybe 50% of what the most advanced burst speakers are. So what we're going to keep doing is trying to create speakers faster, create speakers at a higher level, and then push the whole thing up to a higher level, because it does get complicated, right? But it was really exciting to sort of see this verb and do this work and figure out and how Tlingit thinks of some of these things. Like for a container to be deep or shallow, I couldn't have predicted how that would have been. But so we all know like heen, talk, right? So the talk part, we talked about this, I think last semester. So talk is a cavity, but it's so interesting to me because talk could be a body of water, right? So it's being in the body of water all the way down to the bottom, which could also be tuk ka. That's how you say on the bottom of the lake. But talk could also be down in a gorge. Talk could also be in a bucket, right? So once it starts to get into like not necessarily a cup, but like there's a certain sort of volume where it seems to move into this talk category. So to say it's deep, like if you had a bucket and the bucket was really deep, you would say tade nashe. It's a long ways towards the bottom of the cavity. And I wouldn't have ever guessed that. I don't think. But I also don't know what I would have said. But then when we were doing this work, you could say tade nase. Well, actually, I think it should be tade kunashe, tade kunase. So kunase is the opposite. So you have nashe, nase. Nashe means it's a long ways away. Nase means it's not far. Wow, it's so fun to do this work because you just keep discovering new. I guess like the glass half empty in English thinking would be like, man, I feel like I never know anything because there's always more stuff. But the glass half full person is like, I never have to be bored because there's always more stuff to learn, right? Like stuff that I think is fun because there's things that I never would have guessed. I never would have guessed that that's how it is. That's really fun. Okay, so the oratory event is coming up at the end of March. Isikuge Gwatkins. Anybody know the date of the oratory event?
March. It's in my calendar.
It's in March.
Okay, so it's late March, so consider that. There's a form coming out if you folks are interested. It's a celebration event, and so I think it's on my calendar as well.
March 20th or 26th.
March 26th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So if you would like to, they do have some spots open. I think everybody who participates, I think, gets a scholarship. And it's also a wonderful way to just sort of share language. And if you sign up, we'll give you opportunities to practice in here. And, a question came up, which was, if you're doing storytelling, how do we handle permissions of stories? Which is a wonderful question. And especially if you're going to do some things to make the story your own. Like maybe you do a lot of body acting or other stuff like that. And not everybody thinks the same about these things. But step one is it considered at'u of a clan? And if it is, you gotta kind of be careful. If it's your clan, I do think you have quite a bit of leeway, and you can always check with your clan leadership to say, here's what I'm thinking of doing. Does this sound like it's okay? There are things that are not at'u, and I would say the Raven stories are not. Those are pretty wide open. And then there's quite a few other sort of things that maybe might be, might not be. We'd have to look at them case by case. The talk story is so, it's so prevalent, and then same with the woman who married a bear. Those are two that I think probably go into this realm of general use. But you can also, you could talk to folks, like if there was a story like, because especially if you're doing this in front of the people and you say, well, I'd like to do this story that's from my grandparents' clan, but I just love my grandfather, my grandmother, or whatever. You can go and find, you can get permission and you can go seek permission to do that. Now, I went to this thing in Hawaii where their Ahapunana Leo language nest is open 11 months a year. They take the month of July off. And they're off for 3 weeks, but there's 1 week in July where they get together and they just really prepare for the upcoming year. They pick a theme, they do training, they go all day, all in Hawaiian, amazing teacher training. And when I went there, and we had a translator who helped us, it was so much fun, it was so interactive, it was such an incredible community. And they did this thing where they sat their big kapuna, their big elders, at a table. And then they took this big story that they all knew and they divided it into chapters. Every team took a chapter that they would reenact. And when they did it, it was a competition. And the ones who could make the elders laugh the most were the winners. And it was a riot. It was so fun. And it was, I really liked it because it was taking control of their own narrative. Because when we start telling Raven stories nowadays, I think a lot of people don't know what to do with them. Because they're really funny, but sometimes they're really serious. A lot of people are getting killed in these things. But they're not really, I feel like sometimes we don't laugh at the parts that are funny, and maybe there's a way to kind of reinvigorate some of these things in some ways, but to do so in a way, there's always a line, sometimes you can cross the line. But I think the Raven stories are pretty open. I think if it's your own clan, I think you have a lot of room there, but just maybe checking with some folks there. And then if it's a clan that you're related to, find someone who can maybe give you permission to do that. Because I also think sometimes people say, well, if it's not your clan, you're not supposed to do that, and you're not supposed to do anything with it. But I also think a long time ago people would know, like this, yeah, they're not our clan, but they really know this. Because we have recordings of all kinds of people telling all kinds of stories that belong to all kinds of different clans. I think it was common. And then I also think the general level of knowledge is extremely low about some of this stuff. So I do think it's still good to share. That doesn't mean anybody could do anything, but and it depends too, because if this is somebody dies in the story and that's how they got their atu, that's a pretty big deal. If there's some tense thing, or and if you bring anything up in public to say like that's why this clan owes us money, like I wouldn't do anything like that because I could get into some tricky areas. But yeah, any thoughts, questions, oratory, language stuff you've been thinking about?
Gune, you just reminded me, I don't know if folks would be interested, but I saw it on Facebook. It's through UAA. It's an Indigenous Curriculum Project and Fluency Transfer System Implementation Training. But what caught my eye was that it's the Salish School. of Spokane and the Paul Creek Language Association. So I can, I don't know if folks are interested in that, but it's online and it's free. March 11th, March 11th and 12th.
Oh yeah, yeah. Uh, you folks should sign up for that. Uh, I can certainly bring more details as well to the Thursday class, which I'll be teaching from Petersburg. So just make sure y'all know that. Uh, hopefully, the Ichti Day is really flowing to and from there. But yeah, that's wonderful. So there's that one, and then there is, I think there's a Wear Your Keys event as well, which is right around the same time. Okay, I'll get these details. There's a working group and we've been meeting, and I'm the least organized of the group. But I'll get that information forwarded to you folks. And then we're going to have a session here in Juneau, which I will be leading, and we'll be talking about how to create language materials like workbooks and dictionaries and stuff like that. Stuff like that. Sheesh.
Geez. Yeah, and if you know of, like, is there a place where to find all of these? Because I feel like I miss them, and that's exactly what the area I'm interested in is the teaching, the teaching of it.
Okay. Uh, yeah, I'll find those emails and then I'll bring them on Thursday, because it's still, I think, a month out. Um, but yeah, so those will be in Anchorage and then one down here. So we'll have some folks, I think, coming down here who are working in Ununguch and maybe some Atna and Denuina teachers. And we're really trying to sort of, especially like if we can get to a post-COVID universe, go back to having potentially annual Alaska Native Language conferences. And so there's been a push, I've been pushing for a College of Alaska Native Languages and an Alaska Native Language Schools Consortium, which would, those two organizations, one would be nested within the university system, one would be nested within the sort of Department of Education structures. But if you had those two things, I feel like you could have an annual conference on Alaska Native languages. And that way we could, I mean, there's so much stuff we could share with folks who are teaching Sugpiaq and Yupik and Inupiaq. And there's so many, whether we're talking about techniques, whether we're talking about things to do as a language community, ways to keep people from giving up. Because I could say, don't quit. And then and then also just sort of bringing up folks to share, because there are a lot of these techniques that are designed to get people talking, keep them in the language, get them moving. So, good cheesh.
I have a quick question, just in regards to, I'm working on some vocab, it's called snagging vocab. And it's for like but there's all my like younger sisters and getting into the language now. She's my cousin, but I call her my sister. And she was like, "Hey, do you have any funny like love vocab?" And I was like struggling finding some, so I'm making some.
Uh-huh.
So if any of you guys have any really funny like pickup lines that are like very indigenized and like um, I don't know, just like things that you would think would be funny, like opposite jokes or anything like that. The language community in the Yukon is really looking for that kind of stuff. So
Okay. Okay, anybody got your big swoon phrases? I'll share, I know I've got like a whole bunch of these somewhere, and I'll share some as we go, maybe. Uh, let's see. Let's do this. I'll start a document, because I know I've got some somewhere too. So let me.
I know one I've seen online was like, "You don't stink."
That's so funny.
I was like, that's good.
Well, okay, so someone shared on Twitter there was this image going around of someone selling cookies here in Juneau that are shaped like those little tiny hearts that kids would give out on Valentine's Day, and they're in Lingít, and they're very nice, but one of them says Kech ich chun, which is you don't stink. And I was laughing and I bought some. Then I said, these look really familiar. I feel like I wrote these. And then someone said, she gives you credit right on the website. Yeah, I thought, okay, that's great. So I wasn't complaining, but I kind of, so we did these with the kids in the language nest. And then I gotta find, okay, now I gotta find my Valentine's Day cards. We'll go over those since the season is coming.
Enough cheese.
Where are they? Okay, it might take me a while to find. I did like these cards. I thought they were funny. Okay, I think I found them. Okay, we'll do Valentine's first. And then we'll do anti-Valentines after. So this one, anybody want to read what the naqats is saying here? Okay.
Do you want to be with me?
Oh, just read it in Lingít first.
Oh. Ach, in ge, igachsati.
Okay. Ach in sati. And yes, do you want to, or are you going to be with me? Maybe it's a direct translation of that. Are you going to be with me? So you got this cute little naqats Then we got a little, I guess it's a chatlakach, but it's probably a hedgehog. Anybody want to read that one in Lingít?
Kusachan in yen ati.
Sheesh, chasachan in yen qati. And how do we translate that one?
Is it you are loved?
Yeah, or let love be with you. You can change chasachan to sag, S-A-G, high tone U, and that's let joy be with you. Let's see, and we've got Alahin Takudzi holding a kateich. You want to read that one?
Yisaku ush wasa ichsachan.
Sheesh, I'm missing a high tone on my wah. And how do we translate that one, anybody?
Yisaku is did you know?
Yisaku is you know.
Oh, you know.
What does the oosh do?
If you only.
If you only knew how I love you.
Uh-huh.
That one's pretty sweet. What a sweet little bear. We'll take a look at this oosh a little. I'll put something together for it, but you can put it on the end of a verb, and it's if only. So, like Raven one time says, "Wasa oosh." What do you say? Wasa oosh yen klasane. No, wasa oosh ye klasane. Hade hade kan kat. No, hade kan kashtut. Something like that. What could I ever do? Wasa ushika klasane. What could I possibly do? Okay.
What would it be called if it comes after a verb like that? Like what kind of terminology would it be? Because I know
Oh.
there's like all these different words. for it.
Linguistically or grammatically? you mean?
Linguistically, yeah.
I would call it a post verb.
Okay, post verb.
Some might call it a particle. And, oh, the hintakyan de kingao with a kateich kaduuchuat. Anybody want to read that one?
Uchin ha nachsati
Sheesh. And translation?
together with you.
Is it like we will be together?
Let's be together. This is hortative. That means it's going to happen now. Penguin's going to get you. So there's our. I made those a couple years ago, I think, maybe a year, maybe two. And someone anonymously, I guess a year ago, someone anonymously reached out and said, "Well, what if your ex is trash?" So I was like, "Well, that happens, and everybody should be able to have cards." So, and then we'll get to the flirting stuff after this. Okay, so now we have this nachase, which maybe has a little more attitude. Would anybody like to read this one?
Dash a itinach ute.
Goodness cheesh. And a translation?
I don't need you.
That's right. And oh, this one I think is also a chashakach, but maybe a distant cousin of the one that lives around us. And can I get a reader for this one?
Teich kai shiwak.
Okay, kaisha what? Translation, anybody?
My heart is broken.
Yeah, it's broken, but there's also a subject in there. You broke my heart. Which,
Oh, the flea makes it add a subject.
yes, yes. So there's two things. A kawawak is broken. So one is the classifier switches to say, oh, somebody did it, and now we can add a subject. So kaishawat is the second person perfective. And so you could say, Iteich kauchewat, I broke your heart. Okay. Sean. Okay, so this will give you a hint of what's coming. Anybody like to read this one?
Ye ekosatini e idejik quadagut.
Goodness, sheesh. Translation.
See you later, something?
Yeah, well, so the I on the end makes it in this sort of like, when I see you, it's a future. Now we get this verb, which we might not know. It's okay if we don't. Anybody know this verb?
Singular go. I'll run
It
away
is
from you.
go. But once you put j on the front and add the declassifier, it is attack.
Oh, I was gonna say, I thought it was kill or something.
It's, it's just attacking. So we're just going to state like we're not stating an end goal.
So it's when I see you, I'll attack you? Or,
I will attack you.
or just I will attack you?
Yes, I will attack you. And this this one, which might be my favorite. I don't know. I like to do things like this. I made this series of little buttons, and one of them says like "Kashach tua ushka." That's just what the button says. So here's another hintakyan da kingao. Looks pretty darn happy. And last one. Anybody want to read it? I can read this one. Teshi da chatute. Any one with the translation?
Isn't tip part of a handling verb?
It is, but I don't think that's. I think this one's more like the being one. So this is like ute, tesh ute.
Not,
Da chatute.
I'm not thinking about you.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about you. I gotta fix a couple things on these, but I'll post them tonight so you folks can. What you do with them is up to you. I'm gonna judge anybody.
Goodness, sheesh.
I was really glad somebody asked for the other ones too. I had fun because I'm not really into holidays that much, so then I have fun with stuff like this. So, there are other things that can be said though. So I'll just do maybe a little brainstorm here, come up with a few things that I think are relevant phrases for flirting language and just sort of talking about that kind of stuff. Let's see. So here's some ones that I would think about. Oh, let me make this bigger for. So you could say something like "Ishaqshaqi." And what is that?
You are beautiful.
You are beautiful. And you could say "Ishaqshaqiq." And that is you are beautiful and cute.
Oh.
So that this adds a little bit, that little K does quite a bit of bonus work for you. A funny one is I've heard people say "Ishaqshapurdi." Funny. It's just being funny. You could say "Yayaksaan." Anybody know that one?
Latusha on is you are kind.
Yeah, we'll put that one down.
This is sif rather than sh,
So it's a different classifier.
so it's a different verb. It's something about you being something.
Yeah, like these are things, there is a bit, historically, do with it what you will, there's a bit of gender to these where shakshake would typically be used with a woman and yaksa'an would often be used with the man, but there's no rule that says you can't do that. So this is, really it's saying like you have a pleasant face, you're handsome, you know, however you want to interpret that. The on part has to do with kind, pleasant. That's why you get yaksa on for face, tusha on for inside, right? Let's see.
You hunt or fish.
What's that?
You hunt or fish.
Oh yeah, okay.
I think it's good to ask.
Itlunge or gi, and then east ge. So achwaq. Oops, this needs that. Achwaq qa'iyati.
You fell into my eyes.
Yeah,
Or you
it's
came
like
into my eye.
you are pleasing to my eyes. Do you hunt? Do you fish? And then some of this work has been done already, so let's go. We're going to look at Lingít, which has a whole schmoozing section built in. compliments, dating, schmoozing.
Ooh, didn't know that was in there.
Including an exhaustive discussion of kissing.
Oh,
And
yes.
whether or not someone is kissing someone else or wants to be kissed.
Yeah, so consent is always important here. Uh, these compliments are pretty fun. You brushed your teeth well. So here you have kidane. So this kidane, we're going to take a look at this maybe next week. I think would be a good time to because we've been smashing on verbs for a little while, but you could put some stuff in front of verbs and they're called adverbs and then adjectives. It's really neat to learn how to use these. There is a suffix dane that you could put on verb roots and it turns it into to do something that way. So this, anybody know what this verb root is? Like what would be the verb that we usually use based on this root right here?
A, to be good.
What's that?
A, to be good.
Yeah, so like yuck a, right? So when you contract an EI sometimes it'll change to an I. It's weird. And other times it'll change to an A. It's a little bit funny sometimes, but kedain, to do something well or carefully. Yi'uz, that's you singular, washed it as a perfective. I'uch, your teeth. So now you could substitute any, like you could say you washed whatever, if you wanted to, you really washed it well. This is the plural. Kedain yi'uz, yi'uch. If you are from Teslin in particular, when you see Y-E-E-Y as a second person plural perfective, that second one usually changes to the gamma in Teslin. So you just say kedain ying us yi. You are studying well. Kedain shtu itu. I would kind of expect an L classifier in there. And then, yeah, I think that would be kedain shtu ich tu with an L classifier there. The next one reveals another pattern. So you are dressed nice. Yak'e ade shit'u yeah. So the one is shit'u is you dressed your own self, right? So it's in there that sh is an object pronoun for the self. This one up above is a possessive pronoun also to the self. So shtu is inside one's own self. Shit'u. But this thing, when you say ade blank yeah, you could use that as a pattern for a whole bunch of stuff. I could say yak'e ade yuqyatangiya. It's good the way you spoke. Or yuqyataniya. Or I could say yak'e ade kaishahitiya. It's good the way you wrote it. So that is a pattern, something. So you got one verb, ade, verb, yeah. It is verb that verbed. That is a pattern that you could put together. But in this case, what it's saying is you dressed yourself nice. This one I think is helpful because I think in English people like to say, I like your shirt. But in Tlingit you would end up saying, I want your shirt. Same thing they told me in Hawaii, it's maki maki au. Maki maki ao something. Like I want, but that's also how you'd say I like. And the way they explained it to me in Hawaii is someone would probably give it to you. Then when you left, they're like, why did he want that? What's wrong with him? But to say it's nice, kunach kashake ikudasi. So kashake is the same verb as shakshake, but kashake means it's beautiful on the surface. Shakshake, it's beautiful on the surface of the head. So it's kind of how those things work. So by that logic, non-human things shouldn't be shakshake. So you wouldn't say like that boat is shakshake or that those pants are shakshake because they don't have a head. But oh, then it's right there underneath. Of course. I would say kashake in that case. I would say kashake. You are dressed up. Yan shidzene. So this verb is related to yan uwane, which we usually hear as like yan geiwane, yan geiwane, to be ready. So you could say yan chwasene, I got it ready. You can also say yan shchwadzene, I got myself ready. But it could also mean like you got yourself prepared, right? It's really what it's saying. And then you can see yan shyidzene, yan shwatudzene. Okay.
How would you say she's your cousin, bro? Because I couldn't find that one anywhere. I
So
don't think we have a word for cousin, right?
no, like if the communication is you two are the same side, to a male you would say idak ko'a. That's your sister. Because that's how the old people would say it in English. Say, that's your sister. Or you'd say i'ik away. And that would but again, those are applying gender to those terms. So if you had a situation where it was a situation like any kind of thing that goes against the binary or ignores the binary, you could say "Chshugudnach yisati." You are the same clan. Chushugu nach yisati, which we'll put it in the list. Chushugu nach.
And that one's genderless.
Yep.
They're your brother or sister?
Or you could say, here's another genderless one. That's your sibling. Itaqiyoiqo'a. We won't put any shame on any of this. A lot of people do different things. And then we can say, use the same pattern. That's your sister. So, set to a male. Okay.
So if I wanted to say like my heart is on fire, would I just say the fire first? So it would be like gan yachyati, or like I give you my heart.
Yeah. Yeah, you could say Khan. Well, Khan Yachyati would be like, my heart is red.
Oh.
So I would probably say, we'll check in.
So on also does Khan means fire and red, right?
Yeah, it's like, and Khan is really like the flames of the fire. So it is pretty specific because gun is also fire, but it's sort of like kind of getting more into like including the wood and the space around it. And gun is usually the one you're going to use if you're saying around the fire, in the fire, near the fire. It's always going to go to gun. But khan is talking about the actual flames of the fire. So what we'll do is we'll look up burning. See how things burn in Lingít. So we'll go down to C. So I would start in, uh-oh. I can't click on it. Okay, I'll just drag. But I would click on C and then go upwards from there to BU. So here's burn. We got a bunch of stuff for burn, right? So we get an S classifier with gone. Your pot is cooking, it's going to burn. We get with a ka in front of it and a zero classifier, uwu kawa gone. And then you've got ye kanagan. It is burning from, it's burning, it's in the process of burning. Burn completely. So now we get a ka and then an S classifier and gone. Yaw kasa gone, the boat burned up. Kakan tlitsi nich. Ha gone. Our faces got sunburnt from the strength of the sun. Burning outdoors, usually over an area. Idadi, those are stumps. Kinde chesagant, burn them all up. Na'at aksagant, or aksagant. They are burning old clothes on the beach, but it doesn't always have to, for that one, it could be trash, but this is also a relevant life verb. When somebody did pass away, the people, okay, this is another kind of gender specific thing usually. So if a male passed away, usually the male clan relatives would go in, take their personal clothing and burn it, usually. Like especially the dayunnaati, the undergarments. And same with the female, so the females from the same clan would go and do that. They would usually take like, so that would be like the personal clothing, as far as like undergarments, right? And then they would take all the clothes and usually put them into bags and distribute them to the women of the clan, or maybe the daughters or the sons or whatever. Then we get burned. This is an important sort of thing. For burning and cutting, if you're going to cut or burn flesh, it's a different verb usually. Especially like when you're talking about, because these are related to getting wounded. So you don't use the same burn for like burning a pot or a potato as you would for burning your hand on the oven. And same with cutting. If you got cut, it's not going to be chash, it's going to be qeq. And in this case, it's qeq. So, and then burning to ashes. So this is where we go into metaphor territory, where you don't want to say like, it's as if my heart is literally burning and getting scarred. You would probably want to be, I would say probably this, just general S classifier. And so I would say, achteich. Maybe yin sagan. But let's go. Take a deeper dive into our burning verbs in, yeah, too many hot Cheetos, there you go. Or if they burned you up like real bad, then you got to send them an Anti-Valentine's card. Okay. So, well, let's take a deeper dive into these burning verbs, just to sort of, it's good practice to sort of say, like, how do you kind of master all the information that's in a verb. Because I usually start with the verb dictionary, then I end up going to Carrie's database or Lear's verb list. So we'll go up to gone. And so here we get a little bit more detail. For something to burn or catch a light, for a light to be on, to light, to set fire to cause to shine, for the sun to shine, to be bright or produce light by burning, or to burn up. So what you see is like all of them aren't here. So you could say something like ach techt kaitlakan, which would be you lit my heart on fire. So you can have fun with some of these things because, and you can also insert ch u ya in front of it, and now everybody knows you're making a metaphor. That's the sort of the universal Lingít signal for I am making a metaphor, and then whatever you say, people won't be. I don't think they'd take it literally, anyways, if you said this, but that's just something. It'll push people to think in a sort of more metaphorical context.
Could you write that in the chat? The two.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's a great, like, especially like this when we start talking about oratory and stuff, making metaphors is important. And so you'd say, chu uwa ya, and then whatever, and they could be fun things, they could be flirty things, and they could be serious cultural things. Because they would say stuff like that. Chu uwa ya qadne aya yuchakachishaat Lingít qinach. Qadne hasyat de hun ya hashil kohas. When you start speaking the Lingít language, it's as if the ancestors will reveal their faces. It's like they're looking out through the forest at you. And so you can tie stuff together like that. Okay. Back to flirting. So going through, so we've still got dress up. I will dress up. I'll put on a tie, necktie, which sada'at, I think, is another way you could say that. Ichsachan, itusachan, chat isachan which is do you love me? Asachan, they love them. Whoosh tudzachan. So once you drop whoosh or whoosh right in front of a verb, you're going to get the plus D version, which is why it goes to z, because we do it to each other. We don't love each other. This, I would connect these two. So that should be one word. Ashikan. So this could work the same way. You could say ichshikan, which is I hate you. I don't recommend necessarily saying that. Respecting blank day, ge ituati. Do you want to go to whatever? So that could be show, that could be a town. You could say Huna deke ituati. Do you want to go to Huna? And you don't even need the verb for traveling. You just have ituati. But once you put day on there, same with this. You got sitgasan atcha deke ituati. And
Do you use Satgao-san or Sitgao-san?
I would use sitgao-san. That's just how I've heard it. And then if I was in Tesla, I'd say sitgam-san. And then if you want to say want to go to dinner, the pattern is there. So what would you change to say, hey, you want to go to dinner?
Kana
Mm-hmm.
Kayete Ituati.
Yeah, away. Chana atchayi deke ituati. So you change sitgam-san to chana, and you've got it. Say there's a few different terms of endearment. I don't actually understand how they all work.
Because Jat is one, right? Jat is like sweetheart.
Yeah, ja, chana,
What would the difference be between ja and say?
My guess would be say would be a little bit, they're not, ja would be more like a spouse. In my, same with channa. Like one time I said, Achana Oe, and they said, you married? It's like, oh, we better pick a different one. We weren't married at the time. Yeah, so, but some of them have that. And then you do have chuch and shat. And then we get a whole bunch of kissing verbs. So they are kissing them repeatedly. I would probably say, this is interesting. It says ach ech yes ah. I think you could also say duch ech yes ah. And then a lot of these, like, so you could change these to ach. And so if we look at this one with the yaudza ah, which on its own, that verb means to push your face some in a direction. So it could mean a bunch of different things. It could mean you're inspecting something. Like if you just said, like this one, yaudza ah, what I would interpret that as I was inspecting it. I was assessing it. I was kind of just really looking at it, right? So then, but once you put duchet to their mouth, I poked my face. Because you can also use this one for chawaqitunach yachza'ah. I poked my face out of the window, which would be I stuck my head through the window, right? This one also works for kinde and yinde can go in front of it, which would be to put your head up or to duck down. Like if you know someone is really tall and they're walking through a doorway, you might say yinde yanis ah, which is or yinde yanis ah, which would be duck down. Or like when I'm washing my kids' hair. They like to look down because the water sprays on them, but then the soap goes down into their eyes. Right? I say, I used to say kinde anishkein, but that means look up, and that implies your eyes should be open. So then I started saying kinde yanis ah, which is poke your face upward. Okay.
Ane,
Ah.
pre-contact did Lingít kiss? Because I know kissing is not biological and uniform across the human world.
I have no idea. I don't know. That's a good question. Like, I don't know really how the levels of affection worked back then. It's a good question. Yisikuga. We know ancient stories of kissing. I'll try and find out. So then we get a bunch of other, like, akait isa. There's the command form. You can put the K at the end. You could do that with a lot of, like, there's, in Susie James Cuskey, in her version of the Swan Raven story, the sea otter comes up on this kelp island that Raven's sitting on, and he says, Hakuk, Hakuk. And I was like, oh, that's cute. And so I asked Marge Shukshani, I was like, how would you translate that? She said, come here, honey. And so that little K there does a lot for like endearment. And then you've got two verbs tied together, which I don't know if we talked about this. Here's the trick for these. If you want to tie two verbs together, the first one is usually in an imperfective. Achtiwasagu, yak-e, kash-ushke. It's usually a pretty straightforward verb. Like it's good, it's bad, I want, I don't want. For the second verb, like we'll look at this yach was yi. So the way you get there to tie these verbs together, we're going to go up here and find the kiss verb, which is up here. This is also, so it's inspecting, if you put da in front of, so you could say, ach da Ach da yaitza ah. You examined me. You inspected me. Maybe you were grading my performance. But then if I changed ach da to ach eight, then you kissed me, right? But for this kissing verb, whenever we tie those two verbs together, blank, that, blank. The second one, we look up the negative perfective, and then we put a suffix on there, which is what pushes this one low. If you put a yi on here, it pushes it low. So we would expect ach, or you could say ach tuwasagu ach eight ya yis ayi. I want you to kiss me. But then the same thing, like if we go down to seeing, so we go down to teen, and then we find to perceive something, and we see chosatin. Yak a ichsatin. It contracts because of the I. But you could say it was good that they saw them. Yak a awustini. So that's how you get that second verb in that pattern. Blank, that, blank. It's a very short way to put two verbs together.
Unai,
Ah,
you mentioned that weeks ago in first semester, sort of in passing. And I've spent the whole time since trying to figure it out, and something in writing would be really.
I said I was going to put something together. Okay, I will.
Like several lines of verbs and the translations, just to bring home the pattern.
Ah, okay. We'll work on that. Those are my famous, those are my famous, that'll be like the quote for like, someday they'll quote me on that. I'm going to do that someday. Okay. We should probably take a break. So take 5, we'll come back. We'll do some more of these on Thursday. I'll harvest some others. There's some other ones that are, maybe if we're getting beyond the courting phase, there's some other ones that get kind of interesting and fun. Okay, take 5. Thoughts or questions? Little readings or more verb stuff?
Unai, how would you say the equivalent of it doesn't matter, or I don't have a strong preference, or
You would say, well, I would say, chadasa ituasaku. So that's the way I would sort of take care of that. It's like whatever you want. Or you could just say chadasa or chadakwasa. Okay, let's do a couple of these little readings for a warm-up. Here we'll do a little bit of both. Okay. Can't remember where we left off on this one, so we'll pick up here. Oh. Anybody want to read this one?
Jinda us dudah shan at gugwacha.
Sheesh. Jinda usk du de chun at kukwacha. And how about,
Something small with hands or the gin?
yeah, there's hands. What else we got?
his or her grandson is washing their hands?
Their grandchild is washing their hands. And
They are going to eat.
they are going to eat. So when it comes to both hands, I think all body parts, there's generally 2 ways to do the washing. You can have a usk. You could say du jin a usk du dutchchan. That's totally fine. I hear people say ijin na uz. That's totally fine. So that you have body part. So here, I'll put this up here. So option one is you have I, body part, and then you're going to have object, subject, zero classifier, and then ooze. Oops. If a verb ends with an apostrophe, it's going to always be high. It's just kind of one of these guys. The other part, the other way you can say this is you can have a body part which is a thematic object, subject, D plus 0, and then it'll also end with ooze. So that means there's two ways you can say these things. You could say ijin na ooze, wash your hands. You can also say jinai da ooze, which is technically saying like wash your own hands or whatever. I don't know if there's that big of a difference between them. I hear them both, and so I don't think, I'd have to do a bit more work to see if there's some sort of preference or dialect or anything, but you can do the same thing. So you could say iya na ooze, wash your face. Yain da ooze, wash your face. Okay. Oh.
When you say a verb that ends in a classifier, do you mean a pinched
Oh,
consonant?
an apostrophe.
An apostrophe. You mean a pinched consonant or?
Yes. Anything that ends with an ejective. So anything, if there's an apostrophe on the end, if there's any sort of ejective, you should expect it to always be high.
So
Okay.
for me too, it's going to be hard to start to see ijin na us, then kind of put that two and two together, that's what that's saying.
Right. Those are the same things. It's kind of it's an interesting verb because you could also say i'uch nai us, or you could say uch nai da us. It's like it's an interesting thing because it seems to me to be interchangeable. I probably these days hear it the body part separate, and that might be a thing where this was perhaps the preferred way a long time ago, and maybe it's something we want to sort of maintain. But I don't know. What about this one?
Na ye shada ach yadi. Ye si shouda nuk.
Goodness, sheesh. And a translation. Any parts?
Shahid, Yadi, my child.
Yeah, my child.
And then Yesu then lost me.
A Yesu. So
No.
this is kind of a fun one. It seems to me the way it works. A Yesu, verb, just now verbed. Verb, Yesu, verbing still. It seems to be the pattern. So that Yesu on its own means now. But if you say a Yesu verbed, usually in a perfective form, means just now did the verb. But if you say verbed, Yesu, and usually you're going to have that in an imperfective. Still verbing. Wushjin tutshat Yesu. We're still holding each other's hands. Chayesu watuacha. Chayesu atwatuacha. We just now ate. Okay. And what about the shaudanuk?
Woke up.
Yeah, got up. Na, any ideas on that part?
Have to do with the body.
Yes, it's the upper part of the body. That's the na. That's why you get na'at. Ye shada'uch. They are putting it on
Over the head.
over their head. And it's happening right now. So ye na'u is how you hear this verb a lot as a command form. But you can put sha on there to sort of emphasize that it's happening over the head, through the head type of thing, or head through it. Okay. So I'll read that. I'm going to change this one actually.
I could read it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yada as yejanek probably.
Sheesh, get the hearts. Okay. And translation?
My husband,
The as is for scratching verb.
Chas is scraping.
Oh.
Shaving.
He's scraping his own face, which means shaving.
He's going to work.
He's going to work. He's gonna go to work. That's when I would change this one to a K, because I think it would be triggered by this end vowel right before it. But maybe not.
Say what? Weisha what? Gandach neil uagut.
Sheesh.
That woman is cold.
Mm-hmm.
Home. She's heading home. Going home.
Well, so this neich, if it pops up right before the verb without a day or a dach, then it's a different type of directional thing and not a noun. So just like when you say neich guh, so this one is they came inside. And this is also said from the perspective of being inside. I'm inside, they came inside. And what about the first part?
Going outside? No. Coming outside.
Yes.
Gandach.
In this case, they came in from outside. And those are said in the same, like outside from, inside arrived. Okay? So you would say gande wugut. So this would also be different. Gandach nech uwagut. Maybe last one. We'll see. Anybody read that?
Mashuj. Kiknach. Aku ek. Du shatsu a usk. Chawu.
Sheesh. What do we got?
They're also washing their hair.
Yeah,
That's the second line.
their head also, they are washing it hair.
Okay.
Uh,
Here it says dusha, then there's the verb, then chawu. What about dusha chawu? Dusha chawu tsu usk.
that would work. Dishachawatsuusk.
Is
And
it
you could also say shadausk. That would also, and that would shadausk. So yeah, I think this one you got three ways to say it. It's interesting to have the chawu at the end. I would probably, in this case, I would probably say they are washing their head and hair. But you usually don't see chawu on its own. It's usually like, so, for example, so you could say shachawu. So there's chawu on its own is hair. And then you could say ini chawu, and that's armpit hair. You can have gukyik chawu, ear hair, tuchawu, nose hair. There's other hairs in different spots, but those ones have their own different type of hair.
Would there be nahawu?
What's that?
Nahawu?
Like the body hair?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's usually dachawu.
also around.
Yeah, it's because like da is the whole body. But if you said, you could say, I think you could say nachawu for like upper body hair.
Wuhawu?
Yeah, chest hair. Yeah, what? Chuschawu, leg hair. You could have chusgushchawu, big toe hair. There's something for the top of the foot. I think it's ikchachawu. That would be like those hobbits. They get lots of fur on the top of their feet. Okay, we got all the chawus. Okay. Let's go back to this fun thing. So we kind of took a deep dive on this, I think a week ago. Is that right? And just to review, we're sort of going through these different, we're talking about the prefix and the stem. Our focus now is really just starting to look at what happens when we start changing them. I, you, them. Do it, did it, or do it, doing it, did it, will do it. Those are our starting points. We're not going to look at negatives yet because that gets complicated. We're not going to take deep dives into building the prefix or building the stem variation because that's coming. We're just sort of, looking at this. So continuing to think about these charts, getting more and more familiar with committing these things to memory, who it happens to, who does it, and switching those things out. Also, keeping an eye out for things that will add the letter D to the classifier. Chush to the self, whoosh or wooch to each other, not wooch in, not whoosh tin, but wooch or whoosh directly before the verb. The SH object, and in some cases the fourth person human subject. So there, if it's all zero classifiers with the fourth person, must be minus D. Everything else must be plus D. So if you have D and si, you're going to get dudzi. If you have D and sh, you'll get dudle. If you have D and sh, you'll get dudje. Okay.
Nate,
Ah.
is that a contraction thing?
It's not.
Or is
It
it more
is.
grammatical linguistic?
I think it's a sound thing. So, because it doesn't, for some reason, it doesn't want you to go doody. It doesn't want you to go dusse or dushe or dushe. I don't know why. Might be just sort of avoiding the same sounds or something, or pairing them up. I'm not too sure. So we're mostly looking at subjects here. We're not going to start changing the objects. We'll work on that one. Different exercises. We are always thinking about the classifier. These 4 groups, it won't change groups unless it's a different verb, and it will go back and forth between 0 and the I, with the I saying it has happened. Sometimes the D is built into the classifier, sometimes it gets added for doing it to the self, doing it to each other, or in some cases, kicking out the object. We did cha for eating. We talked about this, learning to read the theme, looking for is there an object, is there a subject, what's the classifier. We'll learn this marked stem variation for us here. This is a standard open stem. The type of verb is important, and the conjugation type is very important for understanding how to start moving the verb around. Because we're only dealing with imperfectives, perfectives, so it's going to be 0 or ya. That's going to be the classifier. As we went through our list, we'll jump towards the end. First this one. The only one that is ya is perfective. Everything else is going to be 0. So when you move the classifier over to this letter I, you are saying it happened, or we're talking about some potential of it happening. Those are the only cases. So there's not very many modes that are, but any positive state verbs, it is that way, or it did happen, they must be plus I. So for this, eat it, we have cha, and then I am, you are, they are. Cha cha, I cha, a cha. I did, you did, they did. So that's what this one does. We did this one already. We also did a new one where we took apart all the pieces to show what's in there and to sort of show how the conjugation is happening. So to do a perfective, y pops up in there. To do a future, ga, ka. Those 3 things have to be there. Then I think we did these ones already, yeah? Itana, khatana, itana, adana, khwatana, yitana, audana, kakhatana, kakitana, agukhtana. So let's cook it. We're going to cook up some of these verbs. We're going to use sa'i. So here's our theme. It's an object. Can't forget that for the third person. You're going to get right there. There's a subject. It's an S classifier. E, standard open stem, 0 verb. It's an act verb too, but 0 is the really important part. So because of that, we should expect most of them to be sa, and only the perfective to be si. So going through sa, sa, si, sa. This is a 0, so there shouldn't be anything in the command, any predictions on how to say cook it.
Sa'i,
Away. Sa'i. Sa'i. Okay? There's your command form. Cook it. You could say atsai, which would be cook. Command. Sounds like, someone who doesn't do very much in a home. Now your Valentine's Day is going to be ruined. Okay, just kidding.
Okay.
Ah,
The difference between sa'i and at-sa'i, is the at something?
it's
So when
something,
you're
yeah.
speaking about cooking in general, the verb doesn't admit that. And so in order to say cook, you have to say cook something.
Yeah,
That's
so
what's
this
going on?
one there's an object there, so you're saying cook it. If you say atsai, cook something. Same with cha, eat it. There's some specific thing I'm talking about. But you say ach eat ya nuwaha, atchacha, or atcha, eat something. That's just, and so now it's not an object, it's just saying eat. Good question. But usually when we translate that, we just leave the something out of it, just for simplicity's sake. But as far as a learner, you keep an eye out for it. Okay, so in the imperfective, this one is going to be short and high. I'll give you the stem. So it's going to end with cha. So how would I say, oh, sorry, it's going to end with e, sorry. I think. It should be short and high. It should be long and high, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay.
Kasai,
Okay. I am cooking it.
Chasai.
kasai.
Chasai. There it is. It is long. I can remember. It's long. And so for these imperfectives, you just have to memorize what the stem variation is. So chasai. What about you are cooking it?
Isai,
Ye'oweh. Isai.
Isa,
Okay. They are cooking it. I'm going to tell you, okay, it was a major hint of another set of kind of complicated rules. If you have a, this is what I would expect, a, zero, sa, e, right? So these are the parts I would expect. This,
Just asai, yeah.
this letter A, if there's nothing in between this letter A and a classifier with a letter A in it, it's going to knock that letter A out of there. This letter A can be knocked out by specific things if there's nothing here to protect it. And a zero is a nothing. So what we're going to see is we're going to get a strike through on this one. I got like a special character for it. I can't remember where it is. Sometimes we'll draw a little A with a slash through it. So that's the classifier is only going to be the letter S.
Plus E.
Yeah, oh,
Kasai.
E. Right? So it knocks this, you can get this vowel, not only the letter A. The letter I signals something, completion or happening, so it can't get knocked out of there, but the letter A can. And there's a list of things. A, y, na. If they touch it, the letter A just runs away.
Okay.
Oh,
Is that only with an S classifier, or is that?
anything with an A. So, except for the D. You can't go to D. Like, they can't have that. So, sa, hla, sha. Any one of those three can get that letter A knocked out of it. Okay. I cooked it. So this one you should expect si. This is also, we're going to learn this rule with the perfective. Don't worry about it now. But a zero open perfective should be long and high. So how about I cooked it?
Huaxi.
Hosei. Yeah, awa. You cooked it.
Ye. Ye. Si.
So the parts we're going to get here is we've got a 0 for the object. We have the perfective marker. We have the second person. We have the classifier, classifier as si. And then we have e. I can't talk and type. It's like trying to walk and chew bubble gum. I can't do it. Okay, that's going to be hot. So these two here, this is important. Y plus I. And then if you have, especially if you have si or sh or sh, this becomes y. It's important to get y, okay? Because if you end up sort of saying euci, what did I do? I made a little mistake. What kind of mistake do you think I made?
Is that an object then?
Yes, you were cooked. So, but it's an easy mistake because like here's the object, here's the, what side is it going to be on? So we just sort of fix that by going like that. That should be our prediction. Yisse-e, right? So you're going to have yisse, yishe, yishe. You're going to start to see when we build these prefix patterns, you're going to be able to get it, and then the classifier, you're kind of only switching this consonant sometimes. Yishe, yisse, yishe. And same with the plus, you could say yidze, yidle, yidje. Okay. They cooked it.
Has to say or has.
Ah, si.
So it starts with a, ausei, ausei. So again, this third, the object is built right on the verb. I will cook it.
Is the W from the U?
Yes. And in this case, here is our W to M rule. If you have vowel, W, consonant, vowel, you will have an M there. Umse for inland dialect. Okay, gotta get the futures, then we go home. You're gonna cook it, maybe, or whatever. Do whatever you want. I will say future verbs work well. Like raising kids, it's been really interesting raising them in Lingít, because sometimes I'll give them a command form. Ikake, you're gonna be good. But sometimes I'll use a future form. Itukukhaan yadi, you're going to be kind. And it's just a softened command. Okay. I am gonna cook it.
Wasai.
We gotta get k, hua.
Oh yeah.
So in this case, I would probably say, I'd say it like that. Kukasai. Kukasai. But if you have anything with the S classifier, you get kukasa whatever. Okay? And then you'll learn kukasha, kukasha, kukada. You change this consonant.
If you were to cook something like diskuklain, would you say diskuklain kokasai?
Yeah. I'm gonna cook a big moose. You are gonna cook it.
Would this be the KG? Kug SIE?
I would expect it to be ga, qe, sa. Ga, qe, sa. And we'll go over that again on, maybe on Thursday we'll review that one. We're running out of time here. So I'm going to change this one to qaqasi'i, qaqisi'i. We got one more. They're going to cook it.
Aguch Sai.
Qaqsi'i. Ye owe. Qaqadenewe ya yitlaq ya iki yuhan. Goodness cheesh. Thursday we'll take a look at this again, and what I'll do is I'll create like another slide, and I'm going to delete that and all of this, and I'm going to have you folks walk me through all the parts that might be there. For example, 0, sa, e. Those are all the parts that are in there. So then you'll tell me all the parts that are in here, and all of these, and all these. We'll say that for another day. Kashish, ukecha.
For next class, do you think we could talk a little bit about the midterm? Or
Oh,
like
yes.
just because I like having lots of time for it.
Okay. Sounds great. Think about what you want to do. And then I'll tell you my ideas. Then we'll meet in the middle somewhere. Okay. Yewish Team. Kashish.
Sheesh.
Sheesh. See you all again.
Yekwati.